This video was made possible in part by Atlas VPN, and by viewers like you. Thank you. My Little Pony is a long-running franchise with a lot of characters, and it makes sense, seeing how collectability is a big part of its toy line. With so many ponies having different colors, symbols, whatever, there's gonna be an incentive for fans to want to collect them all. That being said, when My Little Pony is brought up, what specific characters come to mind? Twilight Sparkle, Pinkie Pie, the main 6, or maybe even Minty from Generation 3, or the new G5 ponies? All valid, but there's one pony who you'll definitely recognize if you were in the My Little Pony fandom a while back. Meet Derpy Hooves, a cross-eyed Pegasus who went from being an animation error to appearing in merch, fan content, and even as a canon character in the My Little Pony TV series. She was really popular, but why? And what was the controversy surrounding her name and appearance? Well, that's what we're going to be looking at today. This is The Rise and Fall of Derpy Hooves. But before we start, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Atlas VPN is a great service that lets you stay safe while online, get access to more content on different streaming services, among many other useful tools that can improve your online experience. Right now, they're offering the best VPN deal on the market, with a 3-year subscription for only $1.99 a month and the 30-day money-back guarantee. All you have to do is click the link in the description to get this great deal, with an amazing 82% off all these features. The VPN in Atlas VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, which makes all your internet traffic travel through an encrypted tunnel. This gives you complete privacy while browsing and lets you stay safe from a ton of online threats. Even your IP address is hidden, which keeps you both safe and private. You can also use it to stream your favorite TV and movies on sites that would otherwise not have them. Streaming services have movies, TV, etc. that are geo-blocked in certain countries. Shows that might be available on the UK Netflix might not be available in America, so by using Atlas VPN and setting your location to a different country, you can get access to a lot more TV and movies without having to shell out the money for another streaming service. This works for basically any streaming service, like Netflix, Hulu, etc., and Atlas VPN has over 750 servers in over 40 countries, so that you can do this with any streaming service in almost any country. Again, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. It means you can get a 3-year subscription for just $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. The time is running out, so get your deal by clicking the link in the video description below. Thank you again to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Derpy's history goes back as far as the very beginning of the show she appears in. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic aired its first episode on October 10th, 2010. During a scene in Twilight Sparkle's library, this gray pony appears several times as a background character. There's even a shot where you can see 2 of them. At around 17 minutes and 18 seconds, you see this same character again, but with her eyes pointing in different directions. The reason for this, according to a layout artist on the show, was that there was another background pony in front of this one, obscuring her face. But they were cut out, so now you see this pony with a random expression. Supervising director at the time, Jason Thiessen, thought it looked funny and said, quote, Hasbro didn't catch it, so it was left in when the episode went to air. Though her first appearance was brief, it sure made an impact. In late October 2010, members of 4chan's or Comics and Cartoons board noticed the error and took a liking to this one oddball pony who had what they called derp eyes. For those who weren't around at the time, derp was like this popular internet phrase that was often paired with a silly face, a derp face, if you will. The way the word was used lined up perfectly with the pony's expression, and so the legend of Derpy Hooves was born. The character would soon become a popular meme amongst the predominantly male My Little Pony fanbase, also known as bronies, which both spread like wildfire across the internet. Soon, fan art, memes, and all that kind of stuff would pop up in the next year. So much so that Jason Thiessen and other members of the show's staff edited Derpy's appearance in some later episodes to cross her eyes. Even Lauren Faust, the show's creator, acknowledged Derpy and said that she enjoyed having her appear in episodes. In a way, Derpy grew to represent the relationship between the show staff and the fans. Artists had fun sneaking her into backgrounds or even giving her the spotlight, like in the episode Feeling Pinky Keen. And fans had fun finding her and seeing something that was an inside joke for them be featured in the show itself. for the time, Derpy's biggest role was in the Season 2 episode, The Last Roundup. In this, she's actually referred to as Derpy. She only shows up in the beginning of the episode. This was still monumental. Putting her in the background or making her drop a piano on Twilight Sparkle's head is one thing, but calling her by her name,
Careful, Derpy!
And giving her relevance to the plot by having her destroy the frickin' Ponyville Town Hall? Wild. Okay, fun fact, little aside, before she was called Derpy here, her original canon name would have been Ditsy Doo. In the episode Winter Wrap-Up, this pony mentions a Pegasus named Ditsy Doo, who went north to bring back the birds that flew south for the winter. Went north to get the southern birds is flavor text apparently found on an MLP trading card with the character, which I couldn't find. I literally could not find it. I saw it on Google Images once, you have to trust me on this. Of course, as we know, Ditsy Doo wasn't used, and the name Derpy stuck. Around 2012 and 2013, she and the online My Little Pony fandom were at their peak in popularity, with Derpy of course being sort of a mascot for bronies. In fact, the fan interpretation of the character drove how she would be interpreted in the canon show itself. The Derpy that exists in the show, although watered down some might argue, is the Derpy that bronies created in fanfictions, memes, animations, etc. So why don't we take a look at a few of those to get a better idea of this fan favorite pony.
Twist.
To start off, we have Bright Eyes, a fanfiction written by user Mainfang in 2011. It's a simple story, barely even a few pages, from the perspective of Derpy, or Bright Eyes, as she goes about her day at work delivering mail around Ponyville. This aspect of her character, being a mail carrier, was something that the fans went with. It was adopted into the canon of the show, first in the Friendship is Magic comics by IDW, and eventually the actual TV program. Mail carrier Derpy appears in the song/animation Great to Be Different, made by the animator Brony Dance Party, and based on a song by artist Forest Rain. This one takes the idea of Derpy more seriously, and yes, I know, she's a My Little Pony with crossed eyes. How are you gonna take that seriously? Well, look at the title. It's about being different and how you shouldn't let people bring you down because of it. Derpy's eyes, and her clumsiness, as some would call it, do make her stand out, and it talks about that in a pretty real way. Yeah, it's not the most deep, but I think it's nice. It does more with the character than just having her be a meme, but I'm not saying you can't do that. And I'm not saying people didn't do that. Take a look at Epic Rage Time. Epic Rage Time, subtitled The Incredible Derp, is an animation made by the group Alligator in the Tub Productions. It starts off with Derpy at the bakery, asking for one of their new lemon surprise muffins. Upon Mr. Cake telling her that they're out, Derpy goes beast mode and starts tearing up the town, proclaiming, "Derpy want muffin." Now, Derpy having a thing for muffins, as a lot of people might know, was a big part of her character. This started with the Season 1 MLP episode Applebuck Season. In it, you can hear her say muffins during this brief crowd shot, and ever since then, her love of the breakfast food has been added to the Derpy lore. Muffins were one of those foods that everybody thought was so funny back in the early 10s, like bacon, tacos, or waffles. So it's really no surprise that it took off as a meme associated with Derpy. This animation is one of many fan works that would incorporate the Derpy muffins phenomenon, although not in the most subtle or funny way. I should also mention that they got Grey Delisle, a pretty established voice actress, to voice Derpy in this. It's fun to see her alongside Twilight Sparkle, whose voice actress in FIM, Tara Strong, has worked on multiple projects with Delisle in the past. Epic Rage Time? More like epic of its time. It really feels like that. Maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way, I don't know. If we're on the subject of Derpy animations, you know we're gonna have to mention Derpy Nyan Nyan. This was a short music video made by the artist Alpha995, who also made the original pony sliding into a box animation. This one has Derpy doing a little dance before cutting to her and Dr. Hooves about to film an adult video. This is based on a Japanese meme remixed from the anime Macross Frontier. Looking on YouTube, you can find a few other versions of this Nyan Nyan dance, but the Derpy one still manages to stick at the top of YouTube search results. If you look at the comments for this one, you'll see a lot of people mentioning how they watched it when they were younger, and how they didn't understand what Derpy and Dr. Hooves were doing. Speaking of this guy, Dr. Hooves, he and Derpy are very similar, in that they were both background ponies who were given a whole identity by fans. Dr. Hooves obviously being a play on the show Doctor Who, which, like MLP, was a staple of early 2010s fandom culture. Due to his hourglass cutie mark and resemblance to the show's 10th Doctor, fans ran with the idea of him being some sort of pony version of the real guy. He and Derpy were often shown as a pair or even shipped together in some instances. Another character who often played a supporting role to Derpy in fan-made MLP content was Dinky. Dinky was a younger background pony who shared a similar desaturated coat and a blonde mane. Fan fiction writers at the time often depicted her as Derpy's offspring, although aside from this one shot in a later episode, there's nothing in the actual show that really suggests this. And of course, you can't forget the rest of the so-called Background Six. These were other background characters who fans took on as their own, including Derpy and the Doctor, Lyra Heartstrings and Bonbon or Sweetie Drops, Vinyl Scratch, and Octavia Melody. These guys all appeared together in a lot of unofficial MLP stuff, as well as actual merch licensed by Hasbro. That's right, Derpy didn't just get to be a staple in the show, she even got her own merch, on the level of literally all the other main MLP characters. Let's take a look at some of it, shall we?
Twist.
Now, once the Brony fandom started to take off, Hasbro had dollar signs in their eyes, as they realized they could capitalize on it. Merch aimed at bronies started to roll out in 2012 and 2013. Most of it was licensed by two companies. Funko, who now needs no introduction, but back in the early 2010s was more of a niche collector thing. Now it's more of a dumb, generic collector thing. We Love Fine was another company responsible for a lot of officially licensed Brony merch, now called For Fans by Fans. Most well known are their t-shirts. This one right here is the first piece of officially licensed Derpy merch. Truly a milestone. Other shirts by these guys include this one that says, "Have a Derpy Day," and this one with Derpy peeking through a box, and this one with a shot taken from a roll in the last roundup. These two bring back a specific memory of that one Minecraft shirt with the creeper looking through it, this one here. The Derpy is Best Pony one I actually own, although I cut the sleeves off it years ago, literally one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in my life. Moving on to figures, you of course have some Funko Pops, as well as some more interesting collectible vinyl figures. Funko made a lot of these back in the day, releasing a whole line of ponies with even some variations in color. I like these. They're really high quality and are accurate to the show with their molds. It's also really nostalgic to see all this MLP merch with the black packaging, signaling to people that these weren't meant for little girls. These ponies were for men. And with all this, you have the Holy Grail, the My Little Pony section at Hot Topic. Although I was too young for Hot Topic at the time, so I had to settle for Newberry Comics, but it was basically the same. Except of course, for the exclusive Hot Topic merch, like the Derpy Belt and the Derpy Mailbag. Anything that a self-prescribed geek in 2013 could want, they slapped a pony on. But that begs the question, what is the rarest piece of Derpy Hooves merchandise? Is it the San Diego Comic-Con 2012 Derpy figure? This BronyCon 2013 exclusive Derpy trading card from the My Little Pony TCG? It's actually this autographed sketch of her by Lauren Faust. This was made for a charity auction to help a relief fund for the 2011 tsunami in Japan. It sold for around $2,100. This is a super cool example of the MLP community and their love for the character doing something good for the world, which, when some people think of Derpy, was the exact opposite. That's right, although she's a fan favorite character, Derpy's initial appearance was met with a bit of controversy.
Saturday Mashup Crack Up will be right back after Rainbow Dash shines her cutie mark. The ponies are coming! My Little Ponies are back on the hub.
Twist.
The whole Derpy controversy started with her appearance in the last roundup. It all comes down to a lack of communication between the writers and the voice actors. The writer of the episode, Amy Keating Rogers, made Derpy to sound good-natured but very clumsy, in an endearing way. However, Derpy's gender wasn't specified in the script, so voice actress Tabitha St. Germain didn't know Derpy was a woman, and based the voice for a character off a teenage boy. The resulting deep voice, appearance, and destruction she causes led some people to call her offensive. After the episode aired, Rogers reported getting angry emails saying that Derpy was a cruel stereotype of disabled people. This was also based on the fact that her name included the word derp. While we now associate derp with silly faces and classic memes, people complained about it being used as an ableist term. After this, the scene was changed to remove any mention of Derpy's name.
Careful, Derpy! Now careful!
They also went back and made her eyes less crooked and gave her a different high-pitched voice.
I just don't know what went wrong! I just don't know what went wrong!
This was changed on the original iTunes release, as well as a few DVDs and streaming services, but luckily you can watch the original version on YouTube. While I do understand the concern that people had at the time, I don't think many people have contempt for Derpy. In fact, it seems like the majority of MLP fans didn't agree with Derpy being censored. In early 2012, the website SaveDerpy.com was created, meant to be a hub for the ongoing campaign of the same name. The hashtag SaveDerpy was spread around Twitter, with the Twitter, Tumblr, and DeviantArt all being created. I need to mention the sheer amount of sad Derpy edits. I even found this AMV, which uses a song by Evanescence. Yeah, they're funny now, but you can tell people were really dedicated to the Save Derpy thing. There was also a short animated PSA made by Alligator in the Tub Studios, featuring a sad, crying Derpy begging people to not let Hasbro take her away. This whole don't let Hasbro take her away thing was an angle that a lot of these went with, trying to humanize Derpy and make it look like Hasbro was gonna put her down or something. It's called using pathos, I believe. The campaign came to a head when Amy Keating Rogers responded and explained the situation behind the changes. As a mother of a disabled child, she wouldn't want the character's portrayal to be offensive to anybody, but also noted that it was a small number of people complaining, and that other fans wrote to her saying how they or their family members were disabled and that they were fond of Derpy. That didn't change the fact that the name Derpy Hooves would soon disappear from everything My Little Pony.
Twist.
After the whole thing happened, Hasbro started to lessen Derpy's presence overall. Though merch would still come out, the name of the character wouldn't be used. Hasbro pressured We Love Fine to rename all their Derpy merch to Ditzy, Derpy's proposed canon name from Season 1. Funko wouldn't use any name on their packaging, instead featuring this I Heart Grey Pony design. This is actually pretty funny because sometimes they do these 3-packs with different characters, and they'd have the names of the other two, but Derpy would just be this abstract logo. You can tell they had to censor it, but they just didn't want to call her Ditzy Doo. Derpy merch made by Hasbro after this point would just have a muffin as a name, or would use the word muffins as the pony's name. The Equestria Girls minifigure and a few others just have the picture, while things like the official Derpy Build-A-Bear have the actual name. Although her name wouldn't be mentioned, Derpy wasn't entirely erased from the show. She still had cameos in Friendship is Magic up until the finale, even appearing as a human in the Equestria Girl series of movies, and the 2017 My Little Pony movie. She even had a few more speaking roles, like in the 2018 holiday special, The Best Gift Ever. Derpy even shows up in the Friendship is Magic spin-off, Pony Life. In this, they actually use the name Muffins for her. In the end, it looks like her canon name and her fan-given name are just different. There's a weird dissonance between what fans called her and still call her now and what Hasbro wants her to be referred to. Personally, I think they should have called her Ditzy Doo from the start. In the original script for the last roundup, Rainbow Dash calls her that instead of Derpy. I don't know for certain how stubborn bronies were, but if they had gone with their original plan of using that name in the show, I think the name could have just been accepted as canon after a while. Take Vinyl Scratch, whose canon name is DJ Pone 3. I think Derpy and Ditzy Doo could have both existed in sort of a harmony, with Derpy just being a nickname, or even being phased out by fans if Hasbro pushed hard enough. Either way, Derpy is still a beloved symbol of brony culture in the early 2010s, as well as a sign of things to come.
Twist.
What Hasbro would do with Derpy back in the early 10s is very similar to what a lot of companies do now when something from their IP becomes a meme. Hasbro saw this very, very, very small part of their show was being memed online and decided to capitalize on it. They did this by adding it to the canon of their property, acknowledging it, as well as producing merch. Later into the 2010s, and even today, you see more and more corporations doing the same. With the success of SpongeBob SquarePants memes, Nickelodeon's been referencing them in the show, and even making official SpongeBob meme t-shirts and figures. What once was a funny frame of animation taken out of context by the internet and turned into an inside joke is now recognized as part of the official brand by the company who owns it. And if we're going to keep giving examples of this phenomenon, we're going to have to talk about the Chungus in the room. Big Chungus started off as a meme of an off-model Bugs Bunny, but then got so big that Warner Brothers made Big Chungus an actual playable character in a Looney Tunes mobile game. He even shows up in Space Jam: A New Legacy. Ultra Instinct Shaggy, a meme about Shaggy from Scooby-Doo being all-powerful. He shows up at the end of a Mortal Kombat movie. Shaggy's entire character in the WB fighting game Multiverses is based off this meme. And there are way more, albeit smaller, examples of this. Take a look at Hot Topic now. See their Shrek and Peppa Pig meme shirts, this He-Man shirt referencing the What's Going On viral video, any piece of Sonic media from the mid-2010s. Companies are now taking memes that fans make online and selling them back to the audience that originated them, just like Hasbro did by embracing Derpy. And that of course brings up the interesting conversation about these corporations owning the memes, a thing generally thought of as being for everybody. I mean, Nickelodeon isn't going to file a DMCA if somebody makes a tweet with a SpongeBob screen cap. It's just something interesting to think about. There's an argument you could make about it being a cynical marketing strategy to pander to a Gen Z demographic, and how a lot of these companies water down or take away a lot of the original edge just to make these things marketable. But let's not get too in a twist about it. I like to have fun on this channel. So, whatever did become of Derpy Hooves? Well, she still has a place in the hearts of hardcore MLP fans. New Derpy art and fanfics have still popped up even after the fandom peaked around 2013. Personally, I love Derpy. She's really cute and reminds me of simpler times. To me, she's a symbol of everything endearing and creative that came with the height of the MLP fandom. With the revival of 2010's internet culture, we're also seeing a revival of old school brony stuff. Brony culture was a big cornerstone of the internet at the time, so it's no surprise that ponies have ended up in the broad scheme of webcore stuff that's been defined in the past year. 10's nostalgia is here to stay, and we better enjoy the quaintness of it before companies start selling our own nostalgia back to us. They've already got Monster High back at Hot Topic, so who's to say that we won't ever see the Hot Topic MLP section restored to its former glory? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a like and drop a comment down below if you enjoyed it. And make sure to subscribe and click that little bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And follow me on my socials linked in the description for art, updates, and other stuff. Again, I'd like to thank Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. And a special shout out to my actor supporters on Patreon. Olive, SR Nano, Allison Madden, Alex Kincaid, Johnny Punchfist, A Kawaii Dragon, Keaton Cryer, Cascadiarch, Bad Bessie, Damian, Booth Taste, Marshmallow, Zeflo, and Goose Nerd. I can't think of a better outro, so until next time, goodbye.
Shooby